Hey there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. So today I will be talking about my thoughts on the recent changes to the beta branch in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So before we get right into today's topic, which was probably going to be mostly about the TEC-9, I really quickly want to talk about a jump bug exploit as well as its silent jump. Now, the jump bug exploit, of course, had to be fixed. It's not intended that you can actually jump over something and look over it without the enemy actually being able to see you. That's just another way of a wall hack, like a glitch kind of. So I'm actually very glad that that has been removed, since it really didn't take any kind of skill to pull it off. However, when you were doing it, you were also doing the silent jump. Now, the silent jump is doing a crouch jump, just being crouched, then jumping, then letting go of crouch. What this essentially does is it brings you not as high up as a usual jump would, since you're immediately releasing your legs again. So you're kind of jumping, but you're not really gaining any height specifically. And of course this would mean that in return you would not make any sound, because your legs are essentially not falling the same distance as with a normal jump, hence not making any sound, hence being the silent jump. Now this has also been removed, and I'm not a big fan of that, because I always thought this would be another layer to CS where you would actually have another mechanic that would make the game more skillful, since it doesn't really require tons of skill to pull it off, but it was still something that was in the game and actually did make sense from a physical point of view. Like in physics, your legs aren't dropping as far, so they're not making a sound. Yeah, makes sense. So I'm not sure why they did remove it. Personally, I think it was probably easier to just remove the whole jumping thing altogether to get rid of the jump exploit. So I think it was probably a side effect having also like not having the silent jump anymore, which I'm not a big fan of. So I really wish they just would have kept that, since it wasn't really harming anyone. It did make sense, and just overall I think it was a cool mechanic to have. Now onto the main topic of this video, which is obviously the TEC-9, or better said the pistols in general. So Valve, again, as each summer, is taking out the beta branch and testing some new things. Now the thing is, the TEC-9, obviously, the way it is right now is probably a little too strong. So currently what they did, as I said already in the update video, they reduced the magazine size from 24 down to 18, so 6 bullets less to spam with. This does make sense. They also were trying to emphasize the fact that you would now try to go for more single shots in order to go for headshots, since again the TEC-9 has quite a lot of damage output. So the thing is, you can definitely, you have a little bit of a higher emphasis to actually go for headshots to make it more skill based, but at the same time you're not really fixing the problem of one-shot killing like armored opponents to the head. The thing is, if you're just continuing to spray as you would usually do with the TEC-9, there's still a high RNG chance of actually killing a target like that. And I think this is the main problem many people don't understand. Yes, the way you did it now is essentially a little bit like the rifle update. You emphasized bursting, you emphasized tapping, over actually just spraying and praying. However, spraying and praying is still viable, and right now it's just more RNG than it was before, and that's the main thing that people get upset with. For example, when I started playing CSGO like a couple years back, I was in Dust 2 behind the boxes on A side. Then I saw a guy running up. He was running the complete way with an AK, and he was just holding firing, like just shooting down. I was like, okay, he's just spraying while running, never in the way, like no way he's going to get me. And boom, headshot, he got me and I died and we lost the round. Just because I wasn't prepared for the RNG. Of course, it's very unlikely that something like that is going to happen most of the time, since the spread is going to be very large. However, with the TEC-9 and the way it is still, this is still a very high chance, like this has still a very high chance of happening. So they did make it more viable, but at the same time they didn't get rid of the frustrating part. They're trying to get rid of the frustrating part by making the emphasis on the skill based, or on the accuracy of the first shot, but at the same time they really did not get rid of the problem that is the higher damage output. And I think the thing is, they should probably, like, I know what they're trying to do with CSGO. They want to make the pistols more viable. They want to have eco rounds be more exciting. They want to make CSGO like its own iteration of CS, basically. And that's why pistols are so strong in CSGO, and I really like that they're now rebalancing it. However, I think that that's not the right way they're doing it. I still think they should keep the higher damage output, so that you can still have a viable source of damage, but make it, again, balanced in terms of money. Like a pistol, like a P250 or a TEC-9, $300 or $500 versus a $3,000 rifle, not being able to one-shot, and like there are balanced reasons for like each of those categories, but I think it would really make more sense for the pistols if they would not be able to one-shot, headshot armored opponents at all. I think if they would have the exact same damage model kind of up close as, for example, the M4 had, it would make a lot more sense, because for one, they have fewer bullets in the magazine, so you can just spray them the same way you would be with an M4. They also have less range, and they're also not fully automatic. So those are many drawbacks which would still like justify having the same damage model on the pistol up close, keep in mind only up close, as for example an M4, and at the same time would keep the M4s more stable while keeping the pistols viable at the same time. And again, if you would have like a very like one-shot headshot like damage output, for example you're doing 90 damage up close with the TEC-9, then you can still go headshot body shot and like finish them off very fast. So that's still a skill move, essentially the same way you'd be playing an M4. You're trying to go for the headshot first, and you're pulling down to the body to hit the center of mass after the spray kicks in and the spread, so you can actually hit a bigger target after you hit the initial skill shot on the head. So I think this is actually the way they should go about fixing the pistols, or again, balancing the pistols. I think this way they would still keep the mentality of CSGO, essentially having the pistols being a strong option at every point in time, but then again also making the other weapons more viable, since you always have to keep in mind CS always has been balanced for money. The more you win, the better equipment you can get. And that's why people are often like, well, the AWP is so strong and blah blah blah. It does cost 4,750 bucks. You cannot get it every round. If you die, it's gone. So you always have to keep that in mind. And that's why I think they really should try to, well, get closer to what the M4 is like in close range for the pistols, and then give them a rapid damage drop-off at long ranges, so that the Deagle is the only pistol that can consistently one-shot, headshot armored opponents across all ranges, because the Deagle really is balanced for that. And I think the other pistols are not. So these are my thoughts. I think it's a nice change what they're trying to do. I don't think that they're actually making it happen. I think right now they're just kind of shifting the problem a little bit off, but keeping it at the same time. Essentially making it more RNG at one kind of space and more skillful at the other, but just having both at the same time still makes it very unreliable. These are my thoughts. Of course, you could have your own thoughts, obviously, and could share them in the comment section down below. That's just what I think about it. And yeah, I think this pretty much wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and luckySkillFaker out.